So let's begin our exploration. Usually mortality is considered a bit like gravity, right? That is an inescapable law of physics. Apples fall from trees and the biological clock ticks inexorably until...
Until it stops, exactly. It's, let's say, the very foundation of human biology. An absolute deadline around which we've built practically everything, from the economy to educational paths.
Right? But then you analyze the documents and theories of a futurist engineer like José Luis Cordero, and the entire perspective is completely overturned.
Absolutely, we're talking about truly cutting-edge ideas.
Yes, in short, Cordero was educated at MIT and co-authored the book The Death of Death. And he treats aging not as a destiny, but as a simple technical malfunction. And look, this head-on clash between traditional medicine and this aggressive futurology is exactly the topic that will animate the next Lions Convention in the Triveneto region.
Ah, the one organized for April 18th, 2026, right?
Exactly, April 18th, 2026. And it's essential to talk about it because the paradigm shift that Cordero proposes is brutal.
It really is. If you think about it, today's medicine almost always works downstream. It intervenes when the heart fails. Or, I don't know, when the joints become inflamed. It tries to contain age-related diseases.
Like trying to bail water out of a sinking boat with a bucket.
Exactly. Instead, Cordero proposes to work upstream. He classifies aging itself as a disease, a curable disease.
So, instead of patching up individual symptoms, the idea is to use nanotechnology or biology to repair the leak directly at the base of the cellular hull.
The metaphor fits, but a hull is passive. On a cellular level, aging is much more like background software that accumulates coding errors.
Ah, wait, you mean until the system crashes?
Exactly, filling up the memory. We're talking about the accumulation of senescent cells, the so-called zombie cells.
The famous zombie cells, yes.
Which basically stop dividing but refuse to die. And so, they release chemicals that poison and age the healthy tissues around them.
Wow, and this idea of cellular repair brings us to what I think is Cordero's real mathematical gamble. That is, it's not like we have to become immortal tomorrow morning.
No, exactly.
We just need to gain enough time. It's the famous concept of longevity escape velocity.
How fascinating.
Very much so. If a therapy today gives you, let's say, 5 extra years of healthy life, you gain the actual time to wait for the next medical breakthrough.
A mechanism that's based precisely on the cumulative effect, right? And not linear of exponential technologies. There will never be a single magic pill.
So no potion of immortality, in short.
Exactly. We'll have artificial intelligence mapping millions of proteins in seconds to find the exact compound against those zombie cells. And at the same time, stem cell therapies or genetic editing to correct DNA.
It really seems like the equivalent of having, biological hardware constantly updated by a network. But there's a problem.
Tell me.
Our body isn't a computer, it's a closed system. You can't just install a patch and reboot without consequences. Cordero even goes so far as to suggest that death from old age will become optional by 2045. A goal that's very close.
A very near milestone.
Maybe too close. Forcing cellular regeneration comes at a physical extreme cost.
And this is where the central clinical limit comes into play, I agree. If we push cells to keep dividing in order to maintain young tissues, we end up altering the telomeres.
At the ends of the chromosomes, right?
Right. And by doing this, the risk of creating the perfect environment for tumor proliferation becomes extremely high.
That's a physical limit that technological optimism certainly can't ignore. Cancer is the body's response to unchecked proliferation.
Exactly. And that's why today's scientific community is still very far from endorsing deadlines like 2045. The foundations are being tested today in laboratories, but the leap from mice to a safe rewriting of the human genome it's
immense, of course.
But the real value of Cordero isn't the accuracy of his timeline. It's that he defends longevity as a humanistic project.
To reduce frailty and suffering.
Exactly. It's needed to push the cultural debate forward. To serve as a vanguard voice.
It pushes the so-called Overton window. If you don't envision a radical scenario, funding will keep going only to bigger buckets for the sinking boat.
Perfectly summarized. It forces the academic world to look at reversing decline, not just managing it.
And it is precisely on this unstable boundary between science fiction and real clinical practice that the debate at the Lions of Triveneto conference will focus. On April 18, 2026.
Will it be a crucial moment to understand the direction of medicine?
Absolutely. And to conclude our analysis, at the beginning, we compared mortality to gravity. But if science really brought us close to that escape velocity, diffusing the biological clock, how would things need to be reconsidered? Careers, education, and human relationships in a society without a real expiration date? Well, this is definitely a thought worth reflecting on.